Welcome to part 5 on how the Cadian army is organised, and in this episode we'll be exploring how the Leman Russ main battle tank of the 18th Cadian Army Group is organised and what their insignia is. The following are the Leman Russ variants that are deployed in the 18th Cadian Army Group. So let us begin. The Leman Russ is the main battle tank of the Astra Militarum, and is also the most widely deployed tank in the Imperium. The tank is named after the Space Wars Primarch, Leman Russ. Far from a sophisticated vehicle, the Leman Russ was designed and built with reliability and versatility in mind. It can survive the worst the galaxy can throw at it, and can run on almost any combustible liquid fuel. Though slow, its frontal armour is strong enough to withstand the multitude of weaponry wielded by the enemies of the Emperor of Mankind. Its side and rear armour remains thinner to reduce the strain of the tank's engines. This characteristic does make the Leman Russ vulnerable to assault from these angles, requiring infantry support, other tanks, or very careful operation to protect the vehicle. The Leman Russ can only perform to its optimum capabilities when all of these elements are combined during an Imperial armoured advance. The Leman Russ main battle tank is an ironclad declaration of might made manifest. These are the mainstay of the Astra Militarum's armoured forces, lumbering slabs of armour, and intolerance whose inexorable advance has grounded 1 billion foes of the Imperial to bloody ruin. What the Leman Russ lacks in speed, it more than makes up for brute force and survivability. Enemy fire clatters from its inches thick armour like dust on the wind. Between its sponsons, hull and turret, the Russ carries enough firepower to pound almost any foe into submission. The tank's rugged simplicity and ease of manufacture ensures that the Imperium can field whole companies of Leman Russes with ease, burying the outnumbered foe beneath waves of an irresistible armoured fury. Dedicated Leman Russ tank companies play a key role in Imperial strategy, and the greatest Imperial tank offences will see armoured formations many terrain miles in breadth sweep all before them in a rumbling tide. However, it is common to see armoured companies broken into squadrons to support infantry and artillery elements in the field. The presence of even one Leman Russ can provide an enormous boost to the fighting strength and morale of Imperial Guard infantry. While a whole squadron of such armoured brutes wields serious destructive power, Leman Russ squadrons can be deployed to spearhead an all-out offensive, reduce an enemy breakthrough to tangle or blood-soaked wreckage, or safeguard the thundering guns of an artillery company from attack. With its many common variants, the Leman Russ is a versatile and deadly tool in the arsenal of any Imperial Guard commander. The basic and most common armament of the Leman Russ tank is a turret-mounted battle cannon and a hull-mounted heavy bolter. Alternatively, a las cannon can be mounted on the tank's hull instead of a heavy bolter. The Leman Russ can be equipped with 2 sponson mounts, one on each side. The most common configuration from the sponson mount is 2 heavy bolters or 2 heavy flamers. The Leman Russ tanks that are part of a well-equipped armoured regiment sometimes have 2 multi-melters or 2 plasma cannons as their sponson weapons. The tank can also be equipped with camouflage netting, extra armour plating, a hunter-killer missile launcher, improved communications equipment, a minesweeper, a pintle-mounted heavy stubber or storm bolter, a searchlight, track guards, rough terrain modifications, a dozer blade, and smoke launchers. One of the less common Leman Russ variants, the Leman Russ Conqueror, is only produced in any significant quantities on the Forge world of Griffin 4, where the standard template construct plans for the design were originally rediscovered. Armed with the Conqueror cannon, as opposed to the standard battle cannon, the Conqueror sacrifices outright destructive power in exchange for improved mobility and accuracy whilst firing on the move. The Leman Russ Conqueror comes standard with a coaxial mounted storm bolters and searchlights, removing the need to expose a crew member to fend off oncoming enemy infantry. The back of the turret houses an armoured ammunition across hatch, making arm the tank quick and easy. This hatch is also used to dispose of spent Conqueror cannon shells. One of the most common Leman Russ variants, the Leman Russ Demolisher, is equipped with the Demolisher cannon and is designed as a short-range bombardment and line breaker tank. The extreme power of this weapon is hampered by its short effective range. Demolishers are valued as close, heavy fire support vehicles by the Imperial Guard's infantry units, and is the most common variant of the Leman Russ that is equipped with the plasma cannons and multi-melters on sponsor mount in order to make them more effective against heavily armoured units. The infrequently seen Leman Russ Exterminator variant is armed with turret-mounted twin-linked autocannons and is generally deployed in an anti-infantry role. Sometimes the Exterminator is also utilised as a stopgap measure for anti-air defence due to its rapid firing speed. It is especially effective against lightly armed horde armies such as the Orcs or Tyranids, and when the tank is equipped with all anti-infantry weaponry such as heavy bolters, it is capable of laying down a withering hail of ballistic fire. While the twin-linked autocannons have a recoil dampeners, they lack a muzzle brake or flash suppressor. The Exterminator is unique in that it is also used in small numbers by the Space Wolves, making it the only Leman Russ variant fielded by any other Space Marine chapter. A variant now produced only on the Forge world of Rysar, the Leman Russ Executioner is armed with the Plasma Destroyer, a slightly more powerful version of the plasma cannon. A poorly understood and temperamental weapon, the Plasma Destroyer is often criticised for its high power requirements, limiting the tank's effectiveness in extended engagements. The turret features emergency vents, heat shielding, and coolant to both protect the crew and the weapon itself from damage should a plasma containment field failure occur. However, due to bad design, the coolant feed lines run outside the turret and are prone to damage, rendering the emergency systems less than reliable. Crews dislike being made to work in the Executioner and are prone to bailing out at the first sign of trouble. Crews who willingly command these tanks often seen as foolhardy, extremely brave, or insane. However, these crews do stick to their tanks, are among the best tank killers in the Imperium, able to take out even the most heavily armoured tanks and buildings due to their powerful main gun. When the tank takes too much damage, the plasma containment field for the main gun can short out, releasing an expanding shockwave of energy that can incinerate any infantry close to the vehicle. A rarer and more advanced variant of the standard Leman Russ, the long-barreled Vanquisher cannon mounted on the Leman Russ Vanquisher, is capable of firing powerful anti-tank shells. In addition, a storm bolter can be mounted coaxially to the main cannon. However, Vanquishers are becoming increasingly rare in the Imperial service due to the actions of the Orc warlord, Argorad the Defiler.
who scoured the Forge world Tigris in the 35th millennium, destroying the only existing template for constructing the Vanquisher cannon in the process.
The Leman Russ Punisher is armed with the most potent anti-infantry vehicle in the Astra Militarum, and amongst the best anti-infantry vehicles in the galaxy. Armed with the Punisher Gatling cannon, a large multi-barreled ballistic weapon, it is known as one of the fastest firing slug throwers in the Imperium's arsenal. The Punisher can shred even the heaviest of infantry units with punitive ease. However, the Punisher can be outmatched by enemy tanks in a hand-to-hand fight, and commonly only works with other Leman Russ tank variants to make up for loss of anti-tank firepower. The crews of the Punishers have reputations for being very gung-ho and extremely trigger-happy. A simple, destructive vehicle, the Leman Russ Eradicator was instrumental in urban conflict on Kai'Zan. Its main weapon, the Eradicator Nova Cannon, gained a fearsome reputation as a powerful anti-infantry weapon. The weapon's heavy, high-caliber ballistic shells are capable of destroying both enemy barricades and any infantry sheltering behind them with a high volatile subatomic charge. This makes the Eradicator extremely effective in cities, jungles, or other dense terrain. With a blast radius close to that of a Demolisher cannon, but possessed of a longer range, the Eradicator Nova Cannon can effectively clear buildings of enemy infantry before they can even get a shot off.
The Leman Russ is crewed by a minimum of 4 crewmen, but can be crewed to up to a crew of 6, adding the sponson gunners. The occupant members are as listed. Number 1 is the tank commander. Number 2 is the main gunner. Number 3 is the driver. Number 4 is the loader. And number 5 and 6 are the sponson gunners. The following is the insignia, starting from the lowest to highest in the ranking system. The lowest ranking Leman Russ tank commander is that of Guardsman 2nd class, whilst all the rest of the occupants inside the Leman Russ are that of Guardsman 3rd class. The next highest rank is that of a Guardsman 1st class, and the rest of the Guardsmen are that of Guardsman 2nd class that operate the vehicle. The next highest rank after that is led by the tank commander, of which he is a Lance Corporal, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of Corporal, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of Sergeant, whilst the rest of the tank crew again are Guardsmen 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of Staff Sergeant, and again the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsmen 2nd class. The next rank, higher up, is that of Sergeant 1st class, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsmen 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of Master Sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are Guardsmen 2nd class. The next highest rank is First Sergeant, whilst the rest of the tank crew are Guardsmen 1st class. The next highest rank is that of Sergeant Major, and that his tank crew are that of Guardsmen 1st class. The next highest rank is that of a commissioned officer, and he is of the rank of 2nd Lieutenant, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsmen 1st class. The next highest rank is that of 1st Lieutenant, and that the tank crew are that of Guardsmen 1st class. The next highest rank is that of a Captain, and that his tank crew are that of Guardsman First Class. And then finally, the highest standard ranking officer leading a tank formation of the Leman Russ is that of the rank of Major, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Specialist Guardsmen. In the 18th Cadian Army Group, a dedicated tank company can be supported by a Commissar to hold the discipline. He is of the rank of Commissar, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman First Class. Here is a brief overview of all the enlisted ranks and non-commissioned officer ranks and officer ranks in this particular video. Guardsman Third Class, Guardsman Second Class, Guardsman First Class, Specialist Guardsman, Seasoned Guardsman, aka Lance Corporal, Senior Guardsman, aka Corporal, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, Sergeant Major, Second Lieutenant, First Lieutenant, Captain, Major, and finally the Commissar. In the next episode, we'll be exploring how the Cadian Pioneer Platoon, Cadian Infantry Platoon, Cadian Demolitions Platoon, Cadian Mobile Anti-Tank Platoon, Cadian Static Heavy Weapons Platoon, Cadian Aerial Spotter Platoon, Cadian Reconnaissance Platoon, the Cadian White Shield Platoon, the Cadian Veteran Platoon, the Cadian Armoured Support Platoon, the Cadian Mechanised Platoon, Cadian Heavily Armoured Mechanised Platoon, the Cadian Heavy Infantry Platoon, and the Cadian Mechanised Heavy Infantry Platoon are organised. In other words, there is a lot of formations within the 18th Cadian Army Group that have yet to be explored. So I hope you are able to join me in the next episode as we delve in to the unlocking of the 18th Cadian Army Group and how they are organised. Thank you for watching. For honour and glory, and for Cadia, Cadia will stand. Happy wargaming.